So this past weekend, a lot of fans were expecting Lucasfilm to drop the first teaser for the Mandalorian Grogu movie at D23.
I think it's a child.
If it had gone public, it would have been the first Star Wars movie trailer released in almost 6 years, which is massive when you think about it. And while the trailer was shown to people in the room, nothing official made its way online. But here's the thing, this isn't just about missing out on a teaser trailer. This movie is being treated as the moment Star Wars steps back onto the big screen.
Alright, pal. It's time to go.
And Din and Grogu aren't just continuing their story, they're about to launch an entirely new era of the galaxy far, far away. By the end of this video, we'll break down why this film is so important, how it ties into the other shows, and what it means for the future of Star Wars.
Grogu is my apprentice. He is no longer a foundling.
Before we jump in, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on today's video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to catch more Star Wars videos like this, then you're in the right place. Now, with all out of the way, let's dive in. Alright, enough of that.
Let me get this straight. You want to work for the New Republic?
On a case-by-case basis.
Alright, so here's where things stand. Fans were hyped going into D23 because it felt like the perfect place to finally drop the first teaser. If it had dropped publicly, it would have been the first Star Wars movie trailer to be released in nearly 6 years, which is wild to think about. Instead, what we got was a behind-the-closed-doors screening for people in the room and nothing official online. And yeah, to be honest, that right there sets the stage for why this film already feels different.
When we return, we're coming in hot.
It's not just another Disney Plus season being promoted, this is the return of Star Wars to theaters. Din and Grogu aren't just picking up where they left off from in Season 3, they're being positioned as the new faces for the next chapter of the saga. But here's the question that's been on my mind. If Lucasfilm is being this selective about how and when the trailer or any kind of footage goes public, what are they holding back? Could there be something in this film they're saving to hit us like a freight train when the timing is just right? Now, before we get into the meat of it all, let's talk about what was actually shown. The trailer showcased that D23 was pretty much the same one that was shown to the inside audience at Star Wars Celebration earlier this year. Din's out there on a snowy planet going head-to-head with Imperials, and this time he's doing it under the banner of the New Republic. We knew from the end of Season 3 that he'd agreed to work with Carson Teva on a case-by-case basis, and this movie seems to pick up right from there. Sigourney Weaver also pops up as a New Republic officer apparently called Colonel Ward, which is a pretty exciting addition. And yeah, of course, Grogu continues to step up after 3 seasons of slowly growing his powers. We now see him using the Force to crush a mouse droid. It's a pretty small moment, but one that makes you realize how far he's come since that wide-eyed kid called Baby Yoda hiding in the pram back in Season 1.
Hey, let's make the baby do the magic hand thing. Come on, baby!
The overall tone feels far bigger than the Disney Plus episodes from what we've seen so far, which is exactly what you'd expect from a theatrical release. Now, we won't get into breaking down the whole trailer right now, but if you did miss it, we'll link our breakdown of the celebration footage at the end of this video. But anyways, this is where things get interesting because it's not just about what the trailer showed us, it's about what it didn't. And sometimes what they choose to leave out tells us even more. I can't help but wonder, could Lucasfilm be keeping the biggest reveals hidden until the public trailer does drop? But yeah, if we look at the patterns of past Star Wars and other Disney releases, then it's understandable why fans thought D23 was going to be the moment. They've released sizzle reels and teaser trailers there before, and then they've gone public pretty much straight away. This time though, nothing. But what we do know is that right now, we're in that window where it's bound to happen, based on how they've handled the sequel trilogy. My money's in October, during a Monday Night Football game.
Let's see if we can get this thing going once and for all.
That's where they've historically pulled huge numbers, and with this being the first Star Wars movie come May 2026 for pretty much 7 years, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to want every single eye possible on that premiere. And yeah, that raises a bigger question. If they're holding the public trailer back for such a high-profile drop, what surprises are they saving for it?
Where can I find the Jedi?
Because this isn't just another teaser of The Mandalorian. This trailer has to reintroduce Star Wars to the theaters, remind fans why they still care, and on top of that set the tone for an entire new era of Star Wars storytelling. Could we see the first hints of Thrawn's shadow over the galaxy, or even a surprise cameo to signal where this all leads? Whatever's in there, the pressure's massive, because this trailer won't just sell a movie, in many ways it's selling the future of the saga. So yeah, what do we actually know about this movie? At D23, they described it as Din and Grogu's biggest adventure yet. And honestly, back when it was first announced and we kind of found out it was a rewritten version of Season 4, I wasn't all that hyped. Season 3 felt like a clean ending to the Mandalorian arc, so it's hard to picture where they'd really go next. But the more you zoom out, the clearer it becomes that this isn't just Season 4, it's the start of a bigger design. Like, Season 1 introduced Din and Grogu, Season 2 opened the door to the larger galaxy,
The Jedi Order fell a long time ago.
So did the Empire, yet it still hunts him.
and Season 3 tied up the Mandalorian story, with Mandalore reclaimed and Bo-Katan leading her people. That left us with a blank slate, and now this film's potentially picking up that thread and tying it to the larger narrative, which includes Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Boba Fett, Luke, and the rest of it. And here's where things get interesting, because while Din and Grogu will spend much of this movie on their own mission, by the end I think they'll stumble onto something much bigger. Could the climax be the moment they realise that Thrawn is the true Shadow pulling the strings? The New Republic would have already received intel that Thrawn survived and is actually back just through Ezra returning. But what if, like the rebellion in Andor, that when faced with word of the Death Star passed on from Luthen, they refuse to believe it until it's too big to ignore?
The problem, Captain, is Luthen.
But yeah, that's the kind of twist that reframes the whole story and sets up what comes next. We also can't ignore the possibility of other characters sneaking in too. Someone like Jod from Skeleton Crew pop up, linking those stories together. We know he's a guy that will work for the highest bidder, so let's hope that's the New Republic rather than the Imperial remnants. Or will we even start to see threads from Pridia and Ahsoka's journey at this point in time feeding into the movie? The idea of crossing those streams is what makes it feel like this era is Star Wars really building up to their own version of Endgame. And with whispers that if this film does well, it could spark a whole trilogy and maybe even spin-offs from The Mandalorian and Grogu, the stakes go way beyond just one story. This isn't just a movie about Din and Grogu anymore, it's Lucasfilm testing whether this corner of the galaxy can carry Star Wars forward on the big screen. And yeah, since Andor wrapped, things have been pretty quiet on the live action front. Sure, we've got some animated projects sprinkled in between now and May, but you could binge them on the sofa in one night. So those alone won't give you the same feeling of every week matters or those trailer drops that send the whole internet into meltdown. Right now it feels like the galaxy is very much catching its breath. But this is the calm before the storm. From 2026 onwards, Star Wars is set to explode again on the big screen.
Are you a Jedi? I am.
The question is, will it recapture the same electricity we all felt when the sequel trilogy was rolling out, or will Lucasfilm take what worked on Disney Plus and finally scale it into something that unites old fans and a new generation? And like, speaking of new generations, that's what makes this so important. Star Wars at its core has always been about teaching people to see the difference between the light and the dark side, between right and wrong. In a time where younger fans are discovering it for the first time, could this next wave of stories define what Star Wars means to them the way the originals and the prequels did for all of us?
I am going to Mandalore so that I may bathe in the living waters and be forgiven for my transgressions.
And on top of that, we've got the 50th anniversary of the very first Star Wars movie right around the corner. This isn't just a one-off event, they've got a year-long celebration planned. And the whispers are that the original 1977 cut of A New Hope, restored in 4K, potentially even 8K, could be re-released in theaters. Imagine seeing that version back on the big screen. What kind of ripple effect would that cause across the fandom? And then you add Star Wars Starfighter into the mix, dropping so close to it all. Could we really end up with two Star Wars films playing in theaters at the same time, alongside a massive celebration event? It sounds wild, maybe even too wild, but if there's ever a time to go big, the 50th anniversary feels like it. Anyways, this really does feel like the calm before the storm. Since 2019, Star Wars hasn't had a presence in the theaters, and in my opinion, that's where it shines the brightest. Sure, we've had some great shows in the meantime, and the galaxy's expanded massively since Episode 9, but the truth is, nothing captures that same level of attention as when Star Wars takes over the big screen. And now we're right on the edge of that moment.
Let me get this straight. You want to work for the New Republic?
The next time you experience a live-action Star Wars, it won't be on your sofa. You'll be sitting in the cinema with the opening crew lighting up the theater again. The hype's been building up piece by piece, but the second that first public trailer drops, that's when everything changes. Could that be the spark that kicks Star Wars back into the cultural spotlight the way The Force Awakens did nearly a decade ago? One thing's for sure, it's not much longer now. So yeah, what do you think Lucasfilm is holding back for the first public trailer, and will it just focus on Din and Grogu, or could we see the first big tease of Thrawn's larger plan? As always, drop your thoughts, theories, and wilder speculations down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our video breaking down the original pitch of Andor, which is now live on the channel. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one, and may the Force be with you.